go ahead and call this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chad, can you please do the roll call?
Supervisor Craig. Supervisor Thorne.
Here.
Chairman Shell.
Here.
Supervisor Brewer. Here. Supervisor Wolford.
Here. First item on the agenda will be citizens' concerns. Anyone here who wishes to address the town board? Can I get a motion to go into public hearing?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Bob and a second by Mitch. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Who wants to start? Go ahead.
Jeff Bellamy, 1503 Carolyn Street. First of all, I think it's a good time to probably bring it up. I think the town needs to look at not issuing any fireworks permit this year and to give it a whirl. I think the police department would appreciate it by not issuing any so that they can do more control on people that are shooting fireworks off over in people's yards, on people's roofs, and so on. So I'm thinking the town needs to look at, if they're going to issue any permits, they should make them go shoot them over a river or somewhere so it doesn't go in other people's yards, and then they got to clean it up. And then also, corner of Caroline Street and Dorn Street was tore up badly with snowplow during one of the last snowfalls, and that needs to seriously be looked at. There's gravel all over the road, and also across kitty corner for me in the neighbor's yard, gravel has gotten over there, pushed in there from the plow as well. And I would also, I see the fire chief isn't here, but I would like something brought up to them about that they should post in their minutes of how many firefighters are showing up per call. I heard they had a fire structure up near the airport, and there was only I believe 4 firefighters that showed up out of about 40. I think there's something wrong. The board needs to look into that. That's a liability to the town as well. When you got people that don't show up and they're trained and we're paying them, I think there's something wrong. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, Ralph, Kate under the business, what's your plan there?
That won't just be my plan. That's open for discussion for everybody tonight.
So if you do hire somebody, what kind of money are you talking?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like I say, this is all fresh on the. It's a very good question, but it's all fresh on the. Happens to have my name on it, but it obviously affects everybody. So well, yeah, that's what we'll have to discuss.
So you're going to decide if you're going to hire? And
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. Is if the need's there, and if we're going to hire, and if we're going to do that, a 25-hour deal, a 40-hour deal, all of these things. So we're real early in the discussion, though, so you'll catch all of it tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Rick Cheshire, 6102 Lakeshore Drive. I'd like to know about the UTV law and what we can do to promote it and make an amendment of some sort that goes on our books to ride them
Yeah,
without designating trails. Otherwise, you got to buy signs. It's going to cost money.
I am
And obey the speed laws.
opposed to what the DNR has come in here and basically has done, but we have to look into it. We had adopted the county ordinance because they allow it, and they have come in and now told us that we have to have our own ordinance and we have to have preferred trails, etc. And I don't think that's correct statutorily, but I haven't had a chance to talk to the chief of police yet to sit down and go through it. Even if we had to establish preferred routes, we would open up every street on the island to get to those preferred routes. So That would be how I would want to handle it. Then you could drive, if we designated Bainbridge and Lake Shore with some of the crossroads in between, you could leave from your home, wherever that was, get to one of those streets and then go.
Then you're gonna have to put up
Which
signs.
essentially is opening up the whole island.
Yeah, well, you still have to put up signs if you only got so
Yeah.
many streets going one
Well,
direction.
I'm opposed to it. I mean, I want people to be able to operate them on the road. I mean, it's legal by state statute now. We have adopted the ordinance, and we didn't expect that we were going to have to, when we learned that the county had an ordinance already, we didn't expect we had to create one of our own, but they're telling us we have to. So that's kind of where it is right now. And I want to sit down and talk to Drew, and then I'll get a hold of somebody out at the state office building at the DNR and see what we need to do to get this resolved.
Well, the DNR is gonna come out. See, there's certain spots and certain trails they have where you do run 10 miles an hour, but they're all gravel and it's dusty, and that's why.
Yep.
That's the only reason the 10 mile an hour thing is. Otherwise, you obey the speed limit.
Yeah. Yep. And we don't have all
And
the
you-
streets in French Island comply.
And they should
35
have,
or
if
less.
you're running them, they should have directionals and
Mhm.
four-way flashers, seat belts. They should be DOT covered.
Yep.
Even with the Wisconsin statute, does say anything within 150 feet of a residential property, regardless of the speed limit, is 15 miles an hour as well. So every street in the island's within 150 feet of a residential property almost.
Are they required to have flags? What height?
RVs are different than UTVs. UTVs will have headlights, signal lights, brake lights, everything.
The only
Seat
difference
belts.
is that
They're a small utility vehicle.
the only difference is they're registered with the DNR and not the Wisconsin DOT.
Right.
It's
Like a snowmobile
It's
or
ATV and UTV though, they're both
Right.
allowed.
But ATVs, right, they have to have a sign, a light, and some of them already do have operating brake lights, tail lights, and headlights now. So,
Most of them.
but if you don't, then you have to have a sign and a light.
My wife drove my ATV over here to vote. She did have the flashing light. She did have a slow-moving vehicle sign. But Drew just swung over to let her know that, be careful.
Yeah, I stopped in and he told me,
Yeah.
knock it off, because I was running around with mine.
Oh.
And I got two big whips on the back that are lit up. It's been parked ever since.
I was under the same impression that it was done. It was
Yeah,
about-
well,
It's,
you know, and I told everybody I know that when you bring theirs out, don't go on the road.
After a little bit more research that Drew and I did, we came the understanding that the state adopted or made a change to the UTV or added the UTV in there. It didn't really change the language for anything else, though. That all it did was allow the municipality to create an ordinance that allows them with dedicated routes. And if you don't have dedicated routes, you have to post at your municipal borders that every road in Campbell is legal.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the chief or the rest of the board is willing to make
Well, you're
every road in
maximum
Campbell
speed is
a
35.
personal playground for UTVs and ATVs.
Are you figuring any changes for snowmobiles? You might as well get that in there right away too.
Well,
The state doesn't recognize that.
those aren't allowed to be operated on the road.
No.
so the conversation I had a while back with the county when we were looking to do that the first time, their complaint was, well, ATVs or now UTVs, but didn't mix on the road with cars. Well, we're speed limit restricted, at certain speed limits. And so that kind of fell off to the wayside. And with the advent of scooters, I mean, you see so much more of that now, especially come summertime around here. So that whole debate has kind of been pushed to the sideline because now you've got you know, those are even smaller and lower and slower. So you've got, you know, slower moving vehicle.
Some are only maxed out at 25.
Yeah, right. With no necessarily license required to operate. So that original debate or the resistance to it has kind of melted away with all the scooters and all the people you see doing it. So, I mean, as far as, you know, I look at them all kind of the same way. I mean, if you want to look at a scooter as kind of a recreational vehicle, that's basically what it is. And transportation, ATV, same thing. So, motorcycle, they're all that same category. I mean, I don't see how they can, why they're delineating or what. It's just a mindset, really, is all it is.
And
Paradigm.
especially if you got seat belts, you got a roll cage, you got bumpers.
Well, I think at one point they're doing it because one is registered as a Wisconsin DOT vehicle with a license plate. The other is a DNR vehicle.
And if you can go to Arizona, you can register it out there.
Minnesota, too.
Unfortunately, we're in
A lot
Wisconsin,
of
so.
states, you can register them and get a license.
So,
It's been on the conversation, Rick, for, so, either we're gonna say yes or no. I mean, Sheriff Steve Helgerson, I talked to him about it and he wasn't very crazy about the idea, so.
You know, after I talked to him, it kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
He said he I don't want to see a whole bunch of UTVs going up goddamn Lakeshore Drive. He says, well, what's the difference between them and about 30 motorcycles?
Yeah.
right. That's the logical debate. I mean,
Yeah.
when they say that, it's like, well, I don't understand the
There's a
difference.
bunch of scooters
Yeah.
or bicycles that don't pay a damn dime to go up the street.
So,
All right, thanks, Rick. We can move on. Anybody else? Go ahead, please.
What's the latest on the corporation thing?
Well, there's not much going on right now. You know, we kind of have to keep they're kind of tied us down right now.
Well,
You haven't had
in the-
anything lately, have you, Mitch?
No.
Okay.
In the community statistics, it says we only got 3.84 square miles.
Yeah, but I think if you count the land under the water, then we come up to our 4.
Yeah, but we went through this before. They said it's got to be buildable land in order to be counted under the 4 square miles.
no, when I was at the hearing in Madison, I'd have to go back and look, but that all was, we had all that resolved. They had already ruled on it. So,
You can bet it's going to be challenged this time around by lacrosse, and they're going to be nitpicking.
and I'm sure they will, but again, even in the border agreement, they stipulated to the fact that they would not disagree with the court ruling on 4 square mile.
That's been, what, almost 25 years ago?
Coming up, what was the border agreement, 20?
25.
25?
About 3 years.
1999.
So,
It's coming up. Anything else, Bruce? Nope. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Can I get a motion to call the public hearing? I'll second that. I got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go down to the consent agenda, items A through C. If there's no action taken on the consent agenda, can I get a motion?
move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move down to business 5A. Let's see. Debbie Walters, 807 Richmond Avenue, request for a 4th cat permit. Chad? Is that-
So yeah, carryover from last month. You didn't make it apparently, so.
Your elderly cat made it another month?
Oh yeah, he's 12. I mean, he could go a few years still. He's slowly slowed down though. So my cats are indoors. They don't go outside unless I'm with them. They're all vetted and vaccinated and have their license.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion by Mitch and a second by Bob. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. 5B, approval for Mike Walden Cancer Benefit at Hillbillies Bar and Grill. 1322 La Crescent Street on Saturday, June 2nd, 2018, from 11 to 6.
This is an expansion of their outdoor beer garden for this event. Is that what it is?
Correct, yeah. This is kind of the same premise as Rock and the Docks, where they asked for an exception to expand their current beer garden to an outdoor facility. Or, well, the beer garden's already outdoor, but
Well, I'll make a motion to approve. Any discussion?
Who wants a second?
I'll second it then.
Oh, no, you made a motion.
Okay.
Ralph?
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion by Mitch and a second by Ralph. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries.
easy enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it easy enough, I
Yeah.
guess?
Gotta be rummaging.
Move down to 5C, approval of fireworks permit for Pat Bonadier Skyrockers for shenanigans on June 2nd, 2018. Chad? Pat?
I don't know, is Pat here?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah, Pat had called me last week mentioning something about, what was it, a wedding or reception? Celebration for that June 2nd, and is asking for a firework permit for their celebration. I'm not real sure too many of the details, but I'm sure you can fill us in.
We were contacted, I'm part of the Skyrockers. We were contacted by Weddings by Nancy. They're doing a big, I guess, wedding there. And they asked about the possibility of fireworks. One place we have never shot from. I went there and took a look at it before, and I looked at it again with the high waters. What we would do would be a fireworks show would pretty much be not aerial shells. There'd be some real small cakes, half-inch in diameter or so of it. What we want to do, we talked it over at our club, we want to stay under 100 feet on anything we shoot off, and it'd be angled out over the water there. We don't want to interfere with the I-road, it's a big concern with us, and the airport. So it'd be other stuff we're thinking about doing. Would be a red heart, of course, just a static piece, a waterfall things, some fireballs, and some comets that just go up and do not burst or so. So it fit all within the NFPA regulations and be kind of a small, I don't know, not one of our big displays, just kind of a fireworks effects, I guess.
Our police chief asked us that you'd have it done by 10. Do you think that'd happen? Or not?
I'm sure it could be. Yeah. I mean, they usually want to get it as soon as it gets dark, and that is not facing west from where their thing is. So I'm sure we could go. And I think July 4th, I know we have to shoot at close to 10, and that's really when it's just dark. Or I mean, it's just getting dark there. June 2nd, I think it's going to still be, probably go 9:30, but it'll be later. The sun doesn't set real late.
Yeah. That's what he sent us an email hoping that it'd be done.
And I could, if you make that thing, I can relay to the wedding, the coordinator and say, hey, this is what it is. And I think you guys should say that, and I'll relay it to her, that this is the way it should be done. Yeah.
I would say, like your heart thing and your waterfall, that's be after 10. But
well, it's not going to be anything real loud. The whole thing. There's no bangs in it. It's real low level type of stuff. We can't. There's not all that much distance, so we can't do anything big there. They have a boat dock, all it's been done.
Yeah.
We look it over and we kind of follow what we want to, what we can do safely.
Thanks, Pat.
You've done this before in the past, obviously. Is there anything with the airport that you have to permission-wise, or?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to work with them, and I know Clint up there, and we'll just inform them that it's we're going to be under 100 feet, which is going to be a lot better than anything else. And then we usually have to call the tower, before we do it, just to let them know, and then they put out a thing. But same with the wedding, we want to go smaller because I know planes do come in sometimes late, probably that 9:30 time frame, that we want to still be able to shoot. I want to work that out with Clint on that, but yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? Bob? Mitch? No? Kelsey? All right. Can I get a motion?
Move to approve the fireworks permit to be for shenanigans on whatever the date was.
June 2nd.
June 2nd to be done by 10 p.m.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
5D, resolution number 2018-3 to adopt a citizens plan, participation plan for the CDBG program. Ralph?
Well, we had the folks in from City Corp this morning, or this afternoon, right before the meeting, sorry. And so these resolutions are ones that we need to pass to move forward with the grant. Has anybody got any questions about any of these things before we move forward?
No,
If that's the case, then I move that we pass the resolution number 218-3 to adopt a citizens participation plan for the CDBG program.
I'll second it. I got a motion by Ralph and a second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 5E, resolution number 2018-4, authorizing resolution for the submission of a community development block grant application. Ralph?
Once again, same thing. Has anybody got any questions on this one? If that's the case, I move that we move forward with resolution number 218-4 and authorizing resolution for the submission of a community development block grant CDBG application.
I'll second it. Motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Let's move down to 5F. Resolution number 2018-5, adopting policy for non-violent civil rights demonstrations, prohibiting the use of excessive force. Ralph?
No questions? And I move for resolution number 218-5, adopting policy for nonviolent civil rights demonstrations, prohibiting the use of excessive force.
I'll second it. I got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We'll move down to 5G. Resolution number 2018-6 to commit matching funds for the CDBG application. Ralph?
I make a motion for resolution number 218-6 to commit matching funds for CDBG application.
I'll second it. You got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion? Oh,
What was the commitment of matching funds?
Yeah, this one I thought was a little bit more,
668.
just,
Yeah.
Yep.
so originally what we had talked about, Linda called me this morning, just so everybody's aware, matching funds would be from the reserve pool at this point. Just to make it easier, we can at some point repay that back through a loan process, but for this purpose, we're guaranteeing our matching funds from our reserve funds at this point. If everybody's good with that.
So for the purpose of the application, we're saying we already have the funding,
Yes.
and at which point we would turn around and then.
Right.
So-
We can take a loan out at any time for any reason to replace that, but for the application process, we are guaranteeing our matching funds through our reserve funds.
how many years left do we have on that $500,000 for the last road project?
3.
3 more years?
Yep. We have 19, 20, and 21. Or the year 2019, 2020, 2020.
Okay.
So we're spending $668,000 to try and get another $668,000, basically.
Well, originally what we would do is we would take out a loan for that anyway, so it saves us from having, because of the loan or the application process being so tight right now, we would have had to meet again to make a resolution to borrow the funds, and we would have to do this all within a couple weeks. So it's just easier for the application process to do it this way, and then sometime in the next couple months, when the project is rolling, then we'll do a resolution, we'll take out our loan, and we'll pay ourselves back.
Actually, we're not spending any of the money anyways till probably next year anyways, so it's not for loan processes, so if anybody's got any issues with that, I guess, at this point, but.
Any further discussion?
When's that? The last block that we just took out, the 500,000? Was it? This comes off in 2021?
Yep. Yep.
Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Resolution number 2018-7 to adopt a fair housing ordinance. Ralph?
I move to adopt resolution number 218-7 to adopt a fair housing ordinance.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Move down to 5I. Ordinance number 2018-1, creating Chapter 8, Article 1, Section 8-1 regarding fair housing.
I got questions on that one. Then I will move that we create ordinance number 218-1, creating Chapter 8, Article 1, Section 8-1 regarding fair housing.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Ralph, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Move down to 5J, disposal of 2 pieces of park equipment. Kelsey?
It's actually 3 now.
Oh,
It's
okay.
shorter. Can I make that change?
Sure. Yeah. Right?
See why not?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. So it's the park equipment from Second Ave. There was a slide and it was in bad shape once it was taken down underneath, correct? There has been some interest from a few people wanting to purchase it. So I don't know if we could try to Craigslist it again like we did with the other items that we did a few months ago. And then there is a teeter-totter that is in bad shape as well. And then the swing set. I'm looking to put them all on Craigslist. I don't know, I had a few gentlemen call, so I'm not sure if they're scrappers or what.
No.
Move to approve.
Is there any liability issues that you know of with those old slides? Those are,
You put a disclaimer on it, not to be used for park equipment. Personal use only, I guess. The owner
I mean,
assumes all
if I can't
responsibility.
sell them, then we're just gonna take them to alter.
Either way, whatever you do with it, I just move to allow Kelsey to dispose of no park equipment.
Yeah.
Second that.
I have a motion by Bob and a second by Mitch. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Let's move down to 5K, consideration of a request for a temporary full-time maintenance employee. Well, Ralph's got your name on it.
Well, we, one of our full-time maintenance guys, what's that? Has a medical issue, and we can't really talk about it, but it's a real variable. We don't know from day to day, week to week, how, what we're gonna have or not have. So I guess we're just trying to be a little proactive and try to figure that out.
a request had come in through Steve asking for a temporary full-time maintenance staff to help alleviate some of the workload that they got coming up in the summer.
Can we start out as just building an eligibility list and put it out on Facebook, on our webpage?
Yeah, I mean, that's one option.
You put it out in the Tribune, it's pretty expensive. So word of mouth. Well, how much is it, Chad?
Well, the last ad we did for the office was $471 for 2 runs.
For 2 what?
2 runs, 2 days.
2 days. Or 2 weeks.
2 days.
2 days.
Just a weekend.
Oh,
They're expensive.
So from a budget standpoint in the payroll side, we,
From a budget standpoint, we don't have budgeted money for an additional person. I mean, so that would have to be an adjustment to the budget.
formality, I guess, I just want to make sure. So,
The only other thing that you have to watch out for, and I mentioned this to Ralph earlier, was the 1,200 hours. So depending on the length of employment, you don't want to hit that 1,200 hour mark.
well, we want to make sure we get all of the work done, chipping and mowing and sewer. So, I mean, we got to continue to get the work done. So, I guess however you want to post it or whatever.
Yeah.
The question what I'm wondering is, do you need approval to go forward with the temporary position? I mean, that's all you really need at this point. I don't care where you put it, how you post it. Right? Okay, so
I wanted to add one thing. The maintenance man that needs some time off, he's hoping he can still work, but it'd probably be, like a light duty status or something.
so just I guess.
But summer is their busiest time.
Right. Barring out any of the circumstances, I mean, I guess that's all to be worked out. But at this point, I mean, I'm looking at knowing what that kind of stuff I got. I know Kelsey's just getting done with the project.
I'm going to be done. I'm going to be no money.
Okay.
I spent it all in the
So-
first 5 months.
I saw
I have
so
my
that
whole little bit I had.
so between that project and I know the guys are pretty busy, but Ralph too, as well. So I move to approve the request or move to approve the full-time temporary maintenance employee.
So is it not something we could look at starting them right below full-time?
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of this meeting is discussion. What do you guys want to do? Do you want 40 hours? Do you want to do a 25? Do you want to do 32? I mean,
Well, we still have the 1,200 hour limit, no matter what. Right?
starting wage. Yeah, but we don't know how long it's going to be. Again, you get about 7 months out of that. After that,
I'm going to strike my motion. To the question then is, as far as the 5 days a week, 8 hours a day thing, I mean, I'm not going to stipulate that. I don't really care how as they see the workload needs to be done, schedule the person accordingly under the 1,200 hours, right? Fair or no? Is that going to be?
they just have to stay under the 1,200 on any rolling given year, on a rolling year.
Right.
If at any point, though, and this is the hard one to prove, if at any point it's anticipated that they're going to be doing that, they automatically get started as well. So they could be at 400 hours 6 months later, and all of a sudden we anticipate that they're going to be at that mark in 8 months. Boom, they start. So you have to be real careful with how you work them.
Oh, I have no. I guess I have no hesitation that we'll be able to do that effectively, or should I be? And we've done that in the past, right? I mean,
Well, I think our summer help was always pretty much a given. three months and part-time and no, it was never an issue.
Right.
They went
We-
back to
we-
school and you couldn't get them anyway.
Yeah, we knew how long it was going to be. At this particular junction, we don't know how long that's going to be. So do you stipulate, we're going to guarantee them 5 months of full-time help and then after that it's done? I mean, or does it keep going? And at that point, we have to look at then full-time benefits, Wisconsin retirement, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
no, I would go for a fixed length. And we can review it after 3 months and see what we need to do. And if we got to do it again, then we do repost it or do whatever.
that's what I'm asking. It's just, I mean, get a little bit more guidance here for Ralph, you know. I know it's worked for us in the past where we've known somebody that can just step in and we haven't had to go through a hiring process basically. You know, is that something you want to do, or do you want to put something out in the paper or word of mouth, or I guess how do you want to approach this? It can get expensive and lengthy. You know, hiring processes for us can take a month and a half to 2 months. Summer's half over then.
It must be 4 months. Well, it'll be end of this month, probably by the time you get somebody in anyway, so June, July, August. So all I'm looking to do is approve whatever that's gonna be for a 3-month, how it gets allocated and how you advertise for it. I guess I wasn't going to put any constraints on that. I mean, as long as we can,
I guess it's 3 months to kind of figure out where we're at.
Is somebody looking for the job, they're gonna have some questions like, are we gonna guarantee them 40 hours a week at X amount of dollars, or are we gonna tell them that they need to be flexible? One week they might work 20, one week they might work 40, it might,
if you put a fixed, sunset on the motion, I think that kind of takes care of itself, because you're only gonna get 40 hours a week and, right?
I'm just thinking that like if I was looking for summer part-time help, I'd like to know how many hours I was going to get. Might make a difference on the quality and the applicants I can get.
Chances of having, 40 hours worth of work for the next 3 months is
Hi.
there we go. 40 hours a week for the next 3 months.
That works.
What does that like entail? They don't get, it's just temporary, they don't get benefits then?
So starting June 1. Think you have it ready by then? Well,
I don't know.
I guess I don't care when. If we need to make it a little bit longer, 3.5 months, I don't know.
How do you want to advertise then? Do you want to do paper, word of mouth,
Put it on the
Facebook?
Page, put it on Facebook, put it in the
Facebook,
paper.
word of mouth on the
We gotta start
website.
charging for this Facebook. All profits go to the park and rec Yes.
You put it
I
on-
will charge you
we can put it
$10
on-
less
we can
than
put it in
the
Craigslist.
tree.
We can put it in Craigslist for free. Just saying.
Yeah.
Craigslist is still free, right?
Depends on who's doing it.
Well, the Facebook is easy, the website's easy if you want. If that's where we're going, and if you want to stop in at some point, you can look over kind of a job description or we've had part-time maintenance applications out there. We can I have some templates that we can use and just give me the go and we'll post them. See where we're at. You said no paper though? Not the paper or paper?
I don't want, actually, I don't care. I mean, I just want to get somebody in. I want to make sure we're not,
Right.
Steve's got a sling on his arm, so
Yeah.
my concern level went up a little bit there. When I
Right.
saw
Oh,
it,
yeah.
so. Or you know, my controller's put in, so I don't care about Ralph's stuff.
Well, that's the other one, so pay,
So,
starting wage.
do you want a range or are you doing?
So we're just advertising on like Facebook.
I want to do a range in case
Right,
you get somebody who, hasn't even picked up a rake before.
right.
You know. Preferably, like, get somebody who has experience, so.
Somebody should reach out to like TC or UWL, Viterbo.
Most of the college kids, man, like, yeah, take that. Done by August.
Well, some of the pay range is going to be dictated on what their expectations are. If it's going to stick them on a lawnmower day after day, is going to be a lot less than if we're going to have them out chipping and filling potholes and doing lawn mowing and stuff. I would think. I think there's a difference between the lawn care maintenance guy and streets guy who might have to go down the sewer hole. My personal, yeah. I mean, what is the expectation that this person's going to be
14,
doing?
13 to 15. I don't know. Thoughts? I'm just throwing out numbers.
Did any temporaries before we have a price?
God, what was it, Steve? I think we've been as low as $8, $9 an hour to.
$9.50, I think was the last for me, for a part-time.
But all he did was mow lawns, didn't he?
I would expect him to mow lawns, fill potholes, I would keep him out of the sewer work, that's where I'm at. Sewer work requires a little training, more safety.
Right.
We try to keep him out of that. Need someone old enough to run a lawnmower, I think we ran into that issue.
Yeah.
You have to have a driver's license, don't need a CDL, but you have to be able to drive.
Honestly, I have no idea what a good pay range is for. Again, to me, it depends on what the expectations are. that they're gonna be here for 40 hours? Are they gonna do general maintenance around the town hall? Not my call.
Were you gonna say something, Chelsea?
I just said 10 to 12. I mean, it's a nice shift for a college kid. You start at 7, you're done by 3:30. You know, you still got your whole night.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Somebody want to make a motion for that then?
So I move to approve the temporary full-time position for maintenance for three months with a pay range of
10 to 12.
$10 to $12 an hour.
I'll second that. I have a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Let's move down to public comment. Can I get a motion to go into public comments?
Move to go into public comment.
I'll second that. I got a motion by Bob, second by Terry. Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We're in public comment. Anybody? Any comments? Bob, go ahead.
Wolford 904, Susan Place. Say, I know it got missed. We were going to do the review of boat landing permit to parking permit item. It was just going to be a discussion.
It was, wasn't it? Sorry. My bad.
I'm glad you forgot it. Thank you.
My bad.
Well, looking at the grant and the street project, I think for me is maybe a little more supportive of that. So as the current is just a boat launch permit, you're capturing just people are dropping a boat and the maintenance goes to docks and whatever, right? So I'm looking to kind of review that because probably there's a whole lot of additional use in that area that's nothing to do with just boat launching. So talked with the Fish and Water Corps of Engineers a couple of years back on doing parking and allowing that, and even putting in some free parking if we decide we want to do that for the people who are like, I just want to come down here for whatever, eat my lunch, so to speak. So they had that open. The only thing, or the other part of that would be allow some, so that like the upper spillway, you put signs in to keep people from parking all over the middle of it and just randomly throughout that landing, and even at some points, blocking the access to the actual launch. So where I was going with that is if we could get that, we generate some extra revenue, we could also use that for streets and roads, basically, because it's a parking permit, and that's where I was looking at maybe to be able to move some of that revenue towards. That's the basis of my initial inquiry.
Thanks. I'd like to, Terry Shaller, 2312 Bainbridge, and on a public comment, I'd like to thank Michelle and Lenny, Steve and his daughter, Russ, and what's your name again? Patrick. And Ralph and his wife, and my wife and I, going out and doing them applications. So thanks much. I talked to police chief today about fireworks, and he says we should charge for the fireworks. But I said if we're going to charge for fireworks, we should designate that money towards something instead of going in the general fund. This guy wants to put it in the general fund. I said we'll give it to parks.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna lose all my boat room 22, so I might as well get some money from somewhere else.
Well, I mean, ultimately, all the money goes to general funds, and then you guys decide how you want to spend it. So if you want to earmark it for next year or budget adjust this year with it, if you went that way, I mean, that's up to you. But
okay.
What do we get, about 10?
We usually get 20.
Yeah, we had 20. Well, yeah, because we put a limit on it the last 2 years,
Exactly.
and we've gotten 20 exactly. So, I mean, you get $10 a piece for them. It's $200. But
3 bolts. I'll take it.
Yeah. So, anybody else for public comment? Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, as long as we got a county rep here, I was wondering, Margaret, what was the deal about putting an island in there on Clinton Street, just before the Clinton Street Bridge?
That's a city project, and it's a crosswalk.
The two crosswalks right together? They're within what, I don't know, 50 feet of each other or something?
This one will have a signal that people can press in order to stop traffic so they can cross safely.
So we'll be stopping traffic there.
I guess so.
That'll go over good.
Yep.
Plus they put it 100 feet farther east than the original plan.
So to that point, Andrea Richmond believes none of this is an issue or a concern, so.
Well, that's because she don't live over here.
She supported the project, and when we were at the meeting, no, I agree.
Yeah, I was at the meeting too, where everybody was supposed to be able to talk, and after about 6 people, she shut it down.
They did. So what I guess what I'm saying, Bruce, is I encourage everybody, because I was going to make a follow-up call to her as well and say we're going to make sure that we funnel the concerned citizens to your office, because there's little or nothing we can do about it. And we went to voice it at that meeting. When we're all there, I agree with you. So the extending piece of that is they'd like to do like a couple more too. I know that was part of the plan along that road. So what they pitched, or at least when we were there, they said, well, that left turn lane was so you could go around slower traffic or congested people turning to the restaurant and stuff. They're now taking that away. So what they said there and what's coming of it are two different things. But
typical city of La Crosse.
Yeah,
I've seen it year after year.
They're going to put in a whole bunch of those pedestrian crossings all over in La Crosse like that.
That's fine. They can keep them over there.
So the downside is that is one of our. I mean, we have that essentially be the main, transit point or exit point. I guess.
We'll tell everybody to call her.
Exit and entry. So yeah. The next piece to be aware of is they've got. Did anybody catch the final plan for the mobile oil site?
No.
I was looking at
We
it, but I
didn't see
couldn't
the
tell if there was
I
a
didn't
road
see the
through it.
drawing.
What's that?
I couldn't tell on TV if there's a road through it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
There.
I know that the original ones. I haven't seen the plan either, but I know one of the original ones was take Bainbridge and run it right across.
Run it right across with a bridge.
So,
and I don't know if that was in I didn't see the final plan.
Should we start the petition now or against it?
no, they put it in the 20 whatever 30 plan or whatever back then, and I thought I talked to the DOT, and they're like, no, because they never did their north-south corridor, so they were like, this is our alternative. And so we're like, no, but if we don't incorporate, obviously, or when it was posted for after, it seems to be going up pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any public comment?
I will.
Well,
Kelsey, 100 First Avenue East. It's rummage sale weekend this weekend. There's 48 people signed up on the list. It's rain or shine.
Can people still get on the list? I didn't want to know.
Nope, the list is done. It's been distributed to the local convenience stores, and it's on Craigslist, and it'll be in the paper. Should be an exciting weekend.
Yeah.
With rain.
And here in the town.
Oh yeah, and there's signs, there's papers here on the list.
A lot of people are excited about it.
It's good.
Yeah. Anybody else? Public comment? Go ahead, Steve.
When it comes to the fireworks thing, year after year we have someone firing off quite a large display within 100 feet of your yardway site. That shouldn't happen. And then I've heard the stuff is still on fire and it's hitting our new roof on our new building out here. I would hope that we could eliminate that from happening again. Another thing, I've heard use ball diamonds. Well, we use ball diamonds. I don't know how many years in a row we've had. If they do it on the infield, they don't clean it up. There's a lot of debris and it's very difficult to clean up.
Well, I have made a mental note on this year, if they do decide to do fireworks, that we don't have to issue one over here. And I've made a mental note not to based on last year's problems. So if the board was gonna be okay with that, I have no problem not issuing one for this over here, over there.
I have pictures of it. You described how much debris.
So the point of that from original was if you had problem areas, then you'd say no.
Then you'd say no, yeah. And that was a problem area last year, so we can definitely eliminate them from
Just so close to the yardway.
Getting another one?
You're gonna have a problem. That's guaranteed fire.
yeah.
Josh got done with work and he went to go get in his personal car and it was covered with fireworks debris. Pretty upset.
It's enough reason to cancel it.
So I don't know if he had damages or not. So
Well, that was also part of the, I think, is it still in there or did we ever adopt it where you're responsible, if you take the permit and you launch, you are responsible for the control area where you're launching it. That was.
Yeah, it's still part of the permitting that they assume the liability, but it's also up to the person that got the damage then to file, with their insurance or whatever, however they fight it.
the police department also wants us to put on there that the person operating fireworks has to be sober.
Isn't that the worst idea in the world?
I think they would be.
Yeah.
You would think.
So anybody else, something for public comment? Can I get a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Mitch, second by Bob. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. That concludes our business. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
I got a motion by Kelsey, second by Bob. Any further discussion? I'll call a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Plenty of time to get